So, to start off, I have to admit something. I'm a bird watcher. And I'm very much into bioacoustics. So absolutely loved your sound work as well as your incredible cinematography. But you captured not only the beauty of those birds in the forest, but the sound recordings were magnificent. So maybe a round of applause just for the sound and for the beauty of those birds. It was just phenomenal footage, I thought, and I loved the way you portrayed not just the Atlantic forest and this amazing biodiversity, but you also took us to the community. And we learned about the people and the waves. And the fellow who's doing this sustainable bamboo practice, building homes. That was quite lovely. So my question to you would be, what inspired you to weave those three stories together in the way that you did, those three elements?
Yeah, first, I'm like a friend, an old friend of René, who is a bird watcher. And I just decided to make the movie of him. That it was the first time. And then I met this guy, this surfer, Wesley. I'm a surfer myself, so I met him and I said, okay, this is a great guy, also because he's heavy and then he surfs very light, and I'm a kind of heavy guy too, and always very impressed with his surf. And I had a passion for bamboo and construction and everything, so I put the three stories together, and I kind of attached them with the Yakui, the Indígena lady that I met later. But the inspiration for the movie was René, the bird watcher, and the idea of him. He told me one day that he recorded the sound of the birds and he played back, and I said, oh my God, that's amazing, no one knows that. I mean, not everybody knows that. That's very interesting, let's make a movie about it. So I kind of get half of the raising, I raised the money just to do half of it, and I start doing and making it, and it happened. And that was it.
It's a wonderful story, and you kind of left us on the edge of our seat. When he's playing, that's such a crafty thing that your friend, the ornithologist, did by recording the sound of what, a bicycle wheel or something that had that ratchety sound.
Sure, because he heard about it. It's just the guy who heard, he says he saw it, right? And he said it looks like a bike chain. I mean, we create that. I mean, it's kind of a fiction inside of a documentary, if you put that. In the end, we kind of leave it open if he's like heard the bird or not. But that was the idea, and the whole idea is just to put the importance of protecting the environment and the connection with nature, and then how we are losing that. And we have three people here that are really connected, each one in their own way, and that is the real message of the movie, and how we are losing that, right? So it's amazing that I could put that in a movie and people can think about that. Okay, maybe I should connect a little more, I should be part of it, right? So people just are losing that. So that's the real message.
Well, thank you. That's the beauty of your film, is the messaging. And I definitely felt that power of place and the way you wove the three stories, not necessarily together, because you were in the forest trying to track down this bird, and then a minute later you're in the wave. And your aerial footage, your drone work was exceptional, and then the aerial acrobatics of the surfer. That was beautifully shot in slow motion, that we really could sense how difficult a move, that he was a master at that. But his love and his passion for just being in the ocean, and I loved the scene on the beach where, was it his mother, describing that they climbed this one particular tree so much that it was bending over, you know, but it was still there. There was that feeling of value of a tree, value of community and place and forest and ocean, all woven together so brilliantly, just really lovely. How about some questions from the audience?
How long did it take you to make this film? How many months or years?
No, myself. So 10, 12 days shooting, and
What
4
time
months
of the year?
was winter,
Winter.
autumn, just this time. It was June 2004 in Ubatuba. Ubatuba is a region that rains a lot. It's very rainy. They call Ubatuba. It's like very rainy, and we were lucky to have like 5 or 6 days with no rain and good waves. And then there was no waves. And then I came back and just did the surfing bit with a slow motion camera, and just myself and an assistant. And I was just going back there doing some drone shots. So I just went sometimes to Ubatuba to make the movie, but with the full crew there 4 or 5 days.
Beautiful.
Look here, I'll come up. Yeah.
Sure.
There you go. Hang on.
That's a great question. 10 days? I would have thought it would have taken 10 years.
So the footage, the bird's footage is René's footage, right? The ornithologist, he films everything. So I use his footage. That's why it's so rich in the birds, the bird bits. So I used his. So if you count the amount of years he made it to capture all those birds, it took a long time. I mean, I didn't have the money to be there looking for birds, because that's a very hard job to get big lenses and stop them. So I use his footage.
Wow.
That helped a lot.
Yeah.
Could you please tell about the people in your film? Like woman with beautiful voice, she was sitting with her son, and then the person who was in like dressed up like Native American. Can you tell a little bit more about them?
Yeah, the lady, that was the question. She's an indigenous figure there in Brazil. She's a very popular leader of the indigenous rights, and I was introduced to her by a friend of mine who helped me raise money to the movie, and he's like goes through this environmental congresses, and he met her, and he introduced me to her, and then I had the 3 stories connected together, and I always felt that I need a girl, and I need some connection between the stories. And then when I met her, I said I need to get some words of you, get some footage of you, and then I went there and I shot her, just myself and a sound person, and I put her in the movie, and then it was better than I expected, because she was very deep in her the way she thinks about nature, and it really connects to the story that I was telling. So that's was very. I mean, when we are making a movie, sometimes everything goes very bad and nothing works, but then when things start working out, and then it works out, and you get the camera for free, and the sound guy is very good, and then you get the right person, and then you got the right, and then there are things that start connecting, and then you get the movie just goes. It's very hard to make movies, and it's not my first movie, and I felt on this one that things start connecting, and then in the end, after I was editing already, I found her, and someone said, okay, you need to meet her, and then I met her, and she's a very important person for the indigenous community in Brazil, the Tupinambás, and a very, very strong leader there.
Thank you.
I think that was the question.
I have a couple questions. One, the name of the movie, what does it mean, and where did it come from? And 2, did the surfer ever fall or crash?
Yeah. The name of the movie is Kaete. It's a term, Tupi-Guarani. There's a tribe, an indigenous tribe there. It means virgin forest. But they say Kaete when it's an untouched forest, you know. And the name of the movie changed a lot during And he falls a
He does
lot.
fall.
You gotta fall, otherwise you never make it.
How about you? Did you take some falls while you were there?
Yeah, sure. I couldn't surf when I was there. I was just
Any other questions? Right here.
What's next?
Next?
What's next?
Yeah, did you hear this? What's next?
What's next?
Next. I have a lot of projects in my mind. I just need time and money to make. So one day, maybe. I have a documentary that I'm planning on doing of a painter, the father of a friend of us, a friend of Priscilla, my wife. It's a famous artist, painter. So I want to make a documentary on him. And I have some other fiction film ideas and things that I'm working on. I hope I can come back here with another movie one day.
Pedro, I have a comment and a question. One is that your cinematography, especially of some of those surfing shots, was just remarkable, stunning, should be in every magazine. And some of the aerial footage, just beautiful art. But could you talk a little bit about your background? You said you made other movies. What is your background a little bit?
Yeah, I used to work on television. I worked on MTV Brazil for a while, and then I came here. I did a master's here in LA. I studied filmmaking, and then I came back. I went to India. I shot a film. I always rated with cinematography. I was always wanted to direct movie, but I think it was a barrier language, and I started learning filmmaking, and then I just went to cinematography right away. I was good with the camera, always good, and I started working as a cinematographer. I went to India. I shot some movies in India, and I feature films here in the US. I have some background in cinematography. So I come back to Brazil, start working as a DP, and I start then after commercials and all, and then I went to TV station there, start shooting soap operas, start working on like big shows as a cinematographer also. And then that when I finished that, I quit that job and I raised money for that. So that's my first real movie that I made after I'm 40 already. So
Well,
I'm just starting.
You're a really good cinematographer,
Thank
for
you.
sure.
Absolutely. I was going to say, I may have lost this one.
Hello? Oh, there we are. No, just, I'm glad you went into cinematography, because it's just, as John said, amazing footage of the surfing and the forest and of course the
I
sound.
have good lenses. I bought some Russian, Ukrainian, there are Russian glasses with rehousing in Ukraine. So some of the lenses that I use are from Ukraine. The camera is a simple camera, I think, but the lenses were really good. For the surfing bit, I got a small slow motion camera. It shoots 1,000 frames per second, but those are 400 frames per second. I got some great equipment to make it, and also I was lucky with the waves too. They were really good, and the surfer. Yeah, so yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming
Okay.
from Brazil to Palm Springs. I'm so glad we're able to share this with this audience, and maybe we'll even have more
Turn your
opportunities.
mic on.
Oh, I think it just went
Wow,
off.
I guess it goes off, it's on now. It's fine. But thank you so much for coming, taking the time to come this far so that we can meet you. I have one final question, is just the village, that location, had you known about that before, or just
Sure,
your
sure.
friend?
Yeah, it's a kind of a famous spot in São Paulo. I mean, São Paulo is a 3-hour drive from there, but it's very untouched. And in Brazil, you can't destroy forests anymore. I mean, everything is destroyed already. There's only 10% of the Atlantic forest. But Ubatuba is a place that you can't. It's very preserved, and there's in a space of 50 or 40 miles there are 100 beaches. So it's very small beaches, and one next to the other is all mountains. So it's a very beautiful place, and I wanted to show that, and I wanted to just portray that to the world and see what people think, because I always thought Brazil is beautiful. There are many beaches, many locations, and waterfalls and deserts, but then I think the most beautiful place is
That's really a wonderful story. And what we saw of the forest, would you say that most of what we were viewing is protected as a
Yeah.
national park?
Yeah, yeah, some are national parks, but they have different types of protection. So the ones that are national park, but you can't cut a tree there without planting. When you buy land, you have a architecture project. You gotta bring to the government, show the project, and then you say, okay, you can construct here like just 20% of your land. So they are very strict with environmental things there. So we don't lose that forest. We used to be a lot, like the whole coast of Brazil used to be the Atlantic forest, and now it's just Ubatuba, portion of Brazil, south of São Paulo a little bit, and it's just finishing. But that's it.
Well, thank you for bringing this place to our awareness
Yeah.
and taking us there in such a beautiful